Thank you, Nitin. Thank you, Shakti, and anyone for inviting me to this session. It was very interesting to listen to Mr. Shakti Sinha. And he said that we should focus on the positives, and I'm quite right that we should focus on positives. And then he went on to enumerate challenges, which only reinforced a little bit of pessimism in me. But I have come in an optimistic frame, so we'll focus on the positives. But I think we need to identify one serious disconnect that we have in this, well, probably all countries face it, but certainly I have seen this here. One is that the burden of his brief presentation was that things are changing so fast, the nature of conflict is changing so fast, etc. Now, I think certainly this audience is very familiar with how the changes are taking place. But the disconnect is that besides saying that what changes are taking place, but how do we convert that into something which is a strategy, a policy, a roadmap, and backed by resources? And that is where the disconnect comes. And I think our national security discussions need to focus on those issues more, so that some solutions can come out. Otherwise, we will be, of course, discussing these changes and without having done much about it. So that's the first point that I wish to make. The second point is that actually India is one of those lucky few countries which can actually make it happen. There's a huge amount of talent, there's a huge amount of appreciation of what is happening, and we have built over the years a large number of institutions, which is actually a good thing. So a lot of work has already been done. So we have that foundation and base as to how to deal with these challenges. And I must say that within the government there is a lot of appreciation, and Mr. Kandare was here, Mr. Mishra, and Mr. Chauhan. Mr. Chauhan, I have not worked with him, but the other two I have worked with him till recently. And I think there is an appreciation of the fact that we need to change. But since our system is so large and ultimately it boils down to a lot of issues of procedures, etc., and that is where I think today the lot of national security challenge is coming from these kind of issues. I mean, you can understand, you know that there are cyber attacks happening. NIC has known it for a very long time. We have gone ahead and tried to build some institutions to map the attacks on cyberspace. Actually, there's a fairly good idea as to how the attacks are taking place and how the networks are dealing with this. But when it comes to how to deal with it, which requires certain resources, a certain coordination, certain synergies, and so on, and that is where our challenge lies. But anyway, I will not take more time because they are very eminent speakers who are going to share their perceptions. I would first request, I think according to the sequence which has been mentioned here, I'll request General Khandare to make his presentation. How much time do we have, by the way?
10 to 12 minutes for each speaker.
Okay, so I think that's a very good thing. So make your points very in staccato fashion, and then we can have some discussion. So he would be speaking on aspirations of being a regional stability provider, which is, I think, a very important concept. It's a relatively new concept in terms of our formulations, although we have been providing regional stability for a very long time. But now what does this concept entail in terms of how do we organize ourselves, and particularly in terms of resources, and what are our both opportunities and challenges in this. I would speak about it. Thank you very much.